Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Major Podcast. So today we are discussing on product management in digital. So we have a guest from Swiggy India. So he's right now working as a vice president of product management in Swiggy. Okay, his name is Tapuja. So hi Tapuja, welcome to the show.
Hi Archit, thank you for having me in this.
Yeah. So Tapuja, could you tell me something about yourself so our audience also know about you?
Sure, yeah, this is Tapuja. I've been working for 15 and a half years now, spanned across, started my career in Samsung, then moved to ITC, then Amazon, and now Swiggy. That's the set of career changes I had. I was one of the founding members of Amazon India's ads business. Was responsible for setting up some of the ad product portfolio that we had. Then was the founding product leader for Amazon Mini TV, which is a free ad-supported video streaming service on the Amazon app. And in my last role in Amazon was working as a e-commerce service product lead, and now recently joined as the vice president and head of product for the food marketplace. That's been my journey. That's been my career. I'm an alum of XLRI Jamshedpur and NIT Jalandhar.
So, as first foremost, I would like to ask, where initially grew up to the field of product management in digital ads? Why digital ads? Why did you choose only the digital?
To be honest, that was coincidence. That was, I can't say that everything was planned. This is way back in 15, 14. So I had been a brand manager in ITC Limited, assistant brand manager to be precise, and I was responsible for a brand called Minto Fresh. I don't know how many of you remember that brand. Yeah, and so I joined Amazon. I was initially a category manager, senior category manager there, and I thought about in a digital e-commerce industry. I have been exposed to brand management. I have been exposed to sales. I've been exposed to category, but product management was one area which I felt I was missing. And deep inside, I want to build my career in as an overall business leader. So if I have to build my career as an overall business leader, I felt I need to experience product management, need to get better at it, need to understand it, because it is one of the critical cogs when you run a digital business. So that's when my journey or inclination of starting product management or getting into product management happened. Coincidentally, Amazon ads was one of those in the very early stages. So I was speaking to multiple folks, and I felt while the product management field is going to be new for me because I have not done that before, but I can leverage my knowledge as a brand manager and act as how a customer of a digital ads product manager would think, and that's why the journey moved towards or segued into digital ads product management. So it's part of it coincidence, part of it just happened and planned.
Okay. So, Tapuja, before moving towards other questions and another discussion, so I would like to ask, what is the scenario of digital ads landscape in India currently?
So see, if you look at broadly, right?
Yeah.
Globally, digital ads, and I will not use the word globally, in developed marketplaces like US, UK, or Western Europe, your digital ads have overtaken in terms of market share and market size from traditional ads. That includes TV, print, media, overall. India is in a stage where that journey is still happening. The growth of the digital ads is significantly higher than the rest of the ads industry, but it still has a lot of opportunity to grow and become the number one. It is, if I'm not wrong, it is bigger than print, it is bigger than radio, it is bigger than outdoor, which you see everywhere. TV, if I'm not wrong, is still bigger in India. But if I look at the growth patterns across the board, I would not be surprised that by 2027-ish, when digital ads actually becomes the biggest form of ad consumption, and that's going to grow. It's not going to stop. Just looking at some data, right? We in India have 350 million active video streamers in India, and that number is going to go to almost 450 million in a few years' time. Imagine 450 million people watching video online, shopping on 200 million of them shopping online, or doing a lot of the day-to-day activities online, social media online, digital ads is primarily going to become the default and de facto way which an advertiser or a brand will be able to reach out to you. So in my mind, this is a very interesting phase. It's a very off if you want to get into digital ads, because there's a lot of scope, there's a lot of scale that is going to grow, and across spectrums. It's not like OTT with Geo Cinema or YouTube. It's gonna be e-commerce ads with Amazon, Flipkart, players like Swiggy, Zomato coming in. There's going to be ads in social media with Indian players like Moj, or global players like Snapchat and Facebook. So you'll find different verticals of digital ads spreading up. And the good thing about digital ads, it is the most precise ad. In TV, I don't know who's watching my ad as an advertiser. I think you are a affluent household, but I don't know if Archit Jain is watching a TV, or Archit Jain is roaming around, or Archit's mother is watching, or Archit's father is watching. In digital, I know who's watching it, who's consuming that ad. So as an advertiser, it's way more precise, and it gives a much better bang for their money. So I do feel that this is a very, very interesting space if I look at India per se.
Tapuja, my next curiosity is more about how has the digital ads landscape evolved over the past 10 years, and what challenges does this present for product managers specifically?
So what is interesting is, and there are some players like Amazon, Flipkart, Swiggy, and Zomato of the world who are leading it. Is initially digital ad started with India Times, and then Facebook came in, and with Google search ads, it was all about, hey, this is a customer whom I think will be interested in buying a car. I don't know, but I think because they talk about it. So that was how the advent started, and it grew very fast. Then over a period of time, e-commerce players came in, and people started to understand, hey, there's a lot more relevance. I know that Archit Jain has probably a baby at home because he buys diapers every 15 days. So he's way more relevant for a PNG than anybody else. Or Archit Jain has been buying certain Steelbird helmets, so I know he's a biker. So the e-commerce players came in and brought a lot of relevance into the picture. And now what is happening is, with some of these players partnering and Jio coming in, say with Jio Cinema, with Jio's e-commerce, suddenly you will have a space where you will be able to marry the data which is there in e-commerce, which is to tell me the relevance, and the viewing time or the time that customer spends on OTT together, and you'll have a very, very strong proposition available for players out there. And that's been the journey in India. It has grown in volume, and also in parallel it has grown in relevance, where you see ads which is more relevant to you. So now if I'm a product manager in this space, what that means is I have to change my mental model, and I'll explain to you why.
Okay.
When I think of ads, I generally think of ads as like, if you ask somebody, he'll say, hey, ads are disturbing because it is taking away from my customer experience. It's bad CX. Right? That's the first thought that you will have in mind. Now I ask you a question. What if you think of ad now as which is more relevant for you and actually helps you discover products which you think you like? For example, you are browsing on Swiggy, and I know that you probably like ice creams which are healthy in nature, guilt-free in nature. You don't like sugar-free. You like sugar-free. You don't like sugar in your stuff. And I say there's a new restaurant opened up in your vicinity called Sugar-Free Kulfis. Would you like to try? No, that is not an irritant ad. That's a relevant ad for you, because now you actually exposed to something which is based on your taste is critical. So the mental model is shifting, where ads from an irritant and just a pure play financial product is moving into a way to where I can help it to automate discovery for a customer, and it becomes benefits for the company. As a customer, you discover relevant products. As a company, I'm able to kind of make money from the advertisement. As a seller, restaurant in the ecosystem, I'm able to reach out to relevant customers who I couldn't earlier. So suddenly, from an irritant, it is becoming actually a very critical cog of making the whole experience relevant. I wouldn't say it is there yet, like it is not 100% there, but that's the journey that's going to happen in the next couple of years or 3 to 4 years in that space. So that's my takeaways where digital ads is gonna go in India or even worldwide.
So, as a product manager, okay, so what are the essential skills and relevant skills I need to put myself in the digital ads world that is most fast-paced world right now? So, what are the essential skills for the product manager?
I think obviously there are standard skills for a product manager. One is obviously you need to be able to put a customer's hat. You need to be able to deep dive and go into details of what you're trying to launch. You need to be very good in abstracting different concepts, data points, and saying, hey, this is what is relevant. And then you need to be extremely good in articulation and getting consensus or leadership or focus alignment. Then that is common for any product manager. What comes on top of a digital ads is in a lot of cases you actually end up having two customers, because you have an advertiser who's paying money, so you have to start thinking about how do I make it relevant for them, and you have a customer who's seeing the ad, whom you need to be capable of ensuring that they don't find it irritating and just walk away. So suddenly you have to deal with two sets of customers, and sometimes you have to take hard decisions. That is one thing as a product manager in digital ads you'll have to be comfortable with. It's like if you bombard a customer, now as an advertiser, if you tell me, hey, I'm going to show this ad to a customer 15 times very quickly and I'll not charge you enough money, maybe it sounds a good one for advertiser, but it's a bad one for the customer, because customer will get irritated and walk away or scroll away on this. So there you have to find that thin line. You have to understand that concept of marginal utility and say till what time it is good to show an ad to a customer and till what time not. So you should be capable, number one, of handling two customer cohorts together and making it work for them. That's number one. Number two, ads. Fundamentally, ads are very critical for an organization's bottom line. It is the most critical cash flow and P&L. So at one side, you have to be very good in understanding CX and customer journey, because that's what you're doing. You're creating an ad which has to be relevant and good for a customer. On other side, you should understand how cash flow works, how ads make money, how yields get generated. And that is a second layer I look for in a product manager, and they should be good for us having good, strong concepts of cash flow in a product management world. Third thing which I really look for is ads is very, very machine learning heavy, and that's where it is evolving. See, relevance is all about what Archit Jain likes to watch, or Archit Jain likes to buy, or Archit Jain likes to eat. And that can only come when you get into artificial intelligence and machine learning. So you should be comfortable with the concepts of machine learning. Like at what level do you go for precision? When do you go for recall? If you are charging an advertiser, you will have a higher bar for precision. But if you are not charging, you may have a lower bar for precision. So just being comfortable with the basic concepts of machine learning and AI, that's the third thing I look for in a digital ads product manager. And if you have these three along with the standard product management capabilities, you'll do very well in this space.
Okay, fine. So, as you point about the specifically machine learning, okay, could you more elaborate on that point specifically? For example, any customer like me, Archit Jain is a customer. Okay, so could you elaborate this point more? Because it's the most interesting point, and viewers need to know about this.
Yeah, see, I'll give you an example. Let's say in e-commerce. If I buy a diaper, I may get into a habit of buying it every 15 days or 30 days basis the cycle that I have. So a signal that Archit Jain has bought a diaper is a signal that Archit Jain will buy again. Now let me take another example of a smartphone. If you have bought a smartphone in the last 15 days, then the signal should be that Archit Jain will not buy a smartphone again. It's corollary. It's absolutely opposite. So at a very crude level, what machine learning will do is for each of these different products that get sold, say in an e-commerce space, it will try to figure out behavior patterns and say what patterns signal better probability of you being interested in the product. For example, if you are buying a let's say a low involvement category, like for example, you just want a socks, and you will come to the platform, you will look for a couple of options, within that you will choose and buy. So probably that particular session is good enough to make a decision. On the vice versa, you want to buy a microwave oven. You generally won't buy in that session. You'll come, you'll read about the functionalities. Then you'll go outside and read blogs about, hey, which microwave is good, what is the issue, what recipes are covered. Then you'll compare prices across different microwaves. Then you'll see, is there any deal coming in the near future, and you'll wait for that deal, like an Independence Day deal or a Prime Day deal or a Diwali deal. Again, so it's not so. What machine learning does is it tries to say, for each product, what is the behavior pattern that it will assign more weightage to. It will create a very simple equation, right? It will create an equation which says customers who bought it once or viewed it once, twice, thrice, fifth times, bought, browse different categories, and it will try and assign weightage. And machine learning, what it will do is assign different weightages based on different products' behavior pattern. That is the first level of machine learning. It may also start behaving on behalf of you as a customer. Archit is a customer who likes to research more. Archit is not, well, Tapuja Chatterjee just tends to buy whatever he gets in the beginning. So it will again use that as a signal in terms of making it relevant for you. Let's take a different example. Let's take OTT. If there is a movie in front of you, and you, after a point, you will realize, hey, Tapuja Chatterjee seems to like click on ads of movies which have Chris Hemsworth or Marvel actors or Marvel superheroes in it, while Archit likes to click on non-human in it, for example, a cyborg or something. Now that is very specific to Archit and Tapuja. That is what a machine learning will start bringing in the picture. That will the creative that you are showing to the customer, which creative is more relevant for them, basis their past behavior pattern. So it happens on both sides. It's going to take the product behavior, it's going to take your behavior, and then marry and create magic.
So, as you told about whole machine learning and give us so many good examples, okay, that is relatively connect with me and your lives and every individual. Okay. So now the question is, data is a new oil. Okay. So where now does data analytics play in driving product management decisions for digital ads? Okay. And can you share some examples of how data influence a significant decision in your experience?
Let me think of see, data analytics is very critical to product management because there are two layers to it. One, you don't make decisions that I'm going to launch a product because I thought so, or I saw an anecdote or so, right? There's a few, you validate your insights, you look at data and you figure out what is happening, what is not. For example, you are looking at data and you launched, say, an ad product about running videos. Now, what happens is, but when you actually launched a product, you may know that, hey, my click-through rates are going down in videos. What is happening? I thought people like watching videos, but they're not clicking on it. That is where data and analytics will play a role, where you'll start segueing on different consumer patterns. What is happening there? Is it a issue that people are just happy that they have watched a video? Is it a technical issue in the back end? Is it that people are clicking somewhere and that the behavior pattern is, for example, you may have created a product where the video, if you click, opens up a full screen, but below the video, if you click, it opens up a product. And you will suddenly realize, okay, people are happy watching the video, which their earlier decision was happening because they would click and end up in a product page and explore more. So data analytics plays a role, number one, in helping you arrive at an idea of what the idea is, how good that idea is. It helps you understand behavior patterns that are happening. That, hey, for example, if you played around and created a big ad below a search banner, and suddenly you notice that my overall platform sales is going down. Why is that so? I thought banner would have helped. Then you realize, here there were certain customers who were not fully sure they wanted to buy. Generally they would have gone to search and bought and moved out in life, but somehow they got attracted to that ad, went somewhere else, and after a point just got lost.
Yes.
So data helps you arrive at these decision making points. And these are some of the examples I've faced in life over my career in terms of learning that, and it has helped us kind of create better products, better understanding. Like for example, a good learning that we had was in one of the streaming. We thought, hey, let's make every banner big. Why not? Let's make a banner big. People will understand more and learn. That's what Facebook has done. Social media has done. And if you make it big, it will work. But then we realized when we launch something like this and we analyze the data is when you make a banner big, it is good when the consumer is in a browsing mindset, where the browsing itself the consumption.
Okay.
But if a customer has a high intent that I somehow know I want to buy this, I want to buy a green colored dress, or I want to buy an ice cream, and if you make the banner big and they're browsing, you're actually taking them or actually making them take more time to arrive at their preferred result, because they have to now scroll more, and if they scroll more they may get frustrated and drop out. So that's what data does to you. That the data pattern which tells you, hey, the drop off used to happen earlier at 7th scroll is now happening at 3rd scroll, or people earlier were clicking at 2.6 scroll, now they're clicking at 3.9 scroll. And when you infer that data, you realize these different patterns and you start questioning your own hypothesis. Hey, that okay, maybe one size doesn't fit all, bigger banner is not good for everybody. So there are these umpteen examples where data and data analytics folks play such a critical role. I have some extremely intelligent data analytics partners who have come with insights, and we had developed product basis those insights. And that to me is the best way to kind of work with a data analytics partner, and they are very critical in this space.
Yes, so as you are a product manager, okay, we break down from first principles maybe. Okay, so how do you collaborate with cross-functional teams such as engineering, marketing, sales, finance to ensure the product launches in the digital ad industry?
Yeah, that is not specific to digital ads. I think in general, you have to just create right stakeholder mechanisms. It's about setting the right set of events, and that mechanism could be an email communication, for example, sharing status update so that everybody is aware what is to be done. A mechanism could be setting a weekly check-in where everybody comes together and unblocks. A mechanism could be escalation, where you have a viewpoint, your counterpart has a viewpoint. Now you can spend the next 6 months fighting over it because you have a viewpoint, or you can agree that we have a different viewpoints right now. Let's escalate it to a leader who can take that decision and quickly solve it and move on in life. So setting up these mechanisms is what drives stakeholder alignment and etc. Obviously, it spans across different phases. Like in the beginning, you'll have a product requirement gathering where you look at data and you'll work with, say, what is working or not. Then you'll collaborate with, say, your engineering partners and write a PRD or BRD, as somebody may call it, in terms of what is practical, what is the requirement, how do you deliver it. Then you work closely with your engineering team to work on the system design front, that what is the right long-term structure to create something like this. Where it is more meaningful, you start working with your product marketing and GTM folks in terms of what is a way to do rightly success, how to test the hypothesis, what are the metrics. Then you start working also with the analytics partners, that what kind of metrics we need to create to prove success in this space. And finally, you work with also your sales partners if it's a sales role, where you start getting feedback. I have launched it, doesn't mean it will work. So how quickly can you get feedback of what is happening on the ground and go back to the drawing board? So it's like a closed loop where you start interacting and using those mechanisms at each stage to kind of work with different folks. But it's fun. The fun, I think a lot of people think the role of a product manager is about taking the decision. I think I say the role of a product manager is about helping the group arrive at the decision. And that's it is about you sharing the right facts, you sharing the right information, so that as a group across GTM, as a engineering, as a marketing, as a analytics, you as a group arrive that, hey, this is the right prioritization, this is the right product to be built, not that I am saying this and this is the right product to be built. If you do that, you will inevitably fail. You may not fail the first time, but you may fail the third time or fourth time. So a good product manager will always kind of get the group to arrive at a decision, and all these mechanisms kind of help in doing that.
So, always a product vision is always a very important and crucial thing for a product manager. Okay. So, how do you prioritize competing demands and stakeholders requests while maintaining a coherent product vision?
There's an easy rule to it. I can't say, hey,
Yeah.
this is it, and you will do it, because that's why we exist. We take judgment calls a lot of times, but at a broad level now, and this is what I feel, and this is what I've learned in Amazon and folks. It's not something I have created. I've learned it. Is in the end, most organizations function for long-term cash flow.
Correct.
Okay, as simple as that. And long-term cash flow is nothing but short-term cash flow. How much of sales you made, how much of profit you made, plus what is the impact of activities that you did in the short term, in the longer term. For example, did you make money by showing somebody ad, or did you make money by helping somebody buy more? Maybe in the long term, helping somebody buy one time has a longer impact or a better impact. So all of these activities are always about long-term cash flows. And I have worked within Amazon or other companies and tried to arrive at that model for long-term cash flow. And I am been privileged and lucky that some of my companies had that model already present. So I've been able to leverage it and work towards influencing it. So that becomes like a holy grail. You create a model for long term. Then when new projects come, new requests come, you can try and see which of them is going to generate long-term cash flow. So that's number one. It's the model which exists. Number two, you always have a clear vision of why you exist. What is the core benefit you have for the customer or advertiser or whoever is that, and you evaluate that, and that's a judgment call. You as a startup, you may pivot, you may evolve, but you should always question that this is the reason why I exist. These are my core customers. This is why they come to me, and I would want to create value for them again and again. So you start subjectively evaluating different point of views. Third point of view that I took, and this is very specific to digital ads, is what do you commit to an advertiser? I think, and this is, there will always be requests. I'll give an example. If Archit Jain clicks on a Pampers ad, there is a probability that Archit Jain may come back and buy again Pampers next 6 months or 7 months. Correct?
Yeah.
But I don't know that. Archit Jain may do it, may not do it. So, but will I tell an advertiser that if Archit Jain clicks now, they will buy for the next 6 months? You may have there is always that inherent interest in, maybe let me do that because that is true, but you may be overcommitting. So the third thing which I always look for and that helps me prioritize is, am I communicating the true value of the product? And sometimes even if it being a little bit conservative in my communication, that's saying, hey, this is what this click did to you. This may happen in the next 6 months, but I'm not guaranteeing that to you. I will. So ensuring you communicate accurately, and that also helps you prioritize products. And finally, it's also about technical work. Like you have to be nimble. One of the fundamentals of product management is how quickly you are able to test hypothesis, and if you are failing, fail fast. For example, do you need these 6 months to test your hypothesis, or can you test something in 1 month? Can you test something in 45 days and then take a decision? And that becomes the fourth and one of the most critical elements of prioritization or product management is, what is my hypothesis? What am I really trying to do in this space? And is the metric that I'm going to capture, is the data that I'm going to capture really going to help that? If you're able to do these 4 things, life is good, and you will be able to communicate to your stakeholders, and they will understand why you are doing this prioritization.
So, as you are in the digital ad industry from so many years ago, okay, so how the digital ad industry continues to evolve, and what emerging trends or technology do you foresee shaping the future of product management?
So let me start with digital ads.
Yeah.
I I think digital ads has come a long way where now we have trying to help one show the right ad to the customer in terms of targeting relevance that I was speaking about. I think what it will evolve to is
Yeah.
can digital ads actually get blend into the content and yet be relevant. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
You are
Yeah.
watching a content on Geo Cinema or a movie or something on Prime Video or somewhere else,
Yeah.
and the actor is or the actress is drinking coffee, and
Yeah.
you know Archit likes to also to drink coffee. Can you change
Yeah.
that coffee in real time to a Nescafe or the mug to a Nescafe and start
Okay.
injecting it so it starts feeling very real? Similarly,
Mm.
the actor is driving a car, and can you change the
Yeah.
car to a Toyota Land Cruiser in real time? And while Archit sees a Toyota Land Cruiser, Tapuja may see basis his preference Maruti Suzuki Swift Desire and change
Yeah.
it. Now I would expect the digital ads to get into real time creative management, and that's where AI will play a role, and also uh, not just be a dedicated slot for ad, but ads get interweaved in what you are watching through. It is not like specifically. So I think that's one area where I'll see ads getting more and more. Second area where I think, and it's not specific to ads, but it's going to happen with data handling, is over a period of time, consumers will start controlling what data do they want to share and what not. Right now, platforms around the world have access to the data because you've given to them to different platforms. Would you want to control the data and say, "Hey, I want to share my mobile number with blah and blah only for 3 days or only for 4 days and not eternity?" For example, you see an ad in Facebook which says XYZ developers is building a house. Do you want to check? Today you click, you share a mobile number, and they call you for next 2 years because you've given your mobile number.
Yeah.
Would you like that thing to be restricted to say, I don't want to share my mobile number, but I'll be okay if they call me once. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be spammed after that. I feel that's the area also the advertisement will move ahead where data will get controlled. And as a customer, you will have the choice to say where I want to share my data and for how long, and not get perennially kind of bombarded with ads. So I think that's the
Yes.
second area I feel uh, ads will evolve. Third
Yeah.
area where I feel ads will evolve, and it's is 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 specifically getting into the domain of cloud management and advertising, and specific for publishers, not to customers. See, we initially thought ads is where we are watching content. We
Mm.
think YouTube is about ads. Great, you watch a content. Then we thought ads is about social media. I'm spending time, so I'll get ads. Then it came,
Yeah.
okay, e-commerce websites are also have ads. Amazon, Flipkart, and some. And
Yeah.
now we are realizing even other places will have ads. So over a period of
Exactly.
time, ads will become a very critical component of almost all businesses around the world. And what it will lead to is there will be a lot of technology advances where you will start, as if I am a website owner, not beyond what AdSense does today, I will be able to just
Mhm.
plug and play advertising infrastructure and say, okay, I want to enable ads in my, I'm Mama Earth, but I want to enable ads in my D2C website. And you can quickly plug and play, go to AWS, Google Cloud, or Microsoft somewhere and pick and choose, and your ads systems will be running. Boom. I think that's the direction where it will go, where every business will have a component of ads, not just your social media or your OTTs of the world or e-commerce. Almost every business will have ads ingrained in the system. And if you remember, we talked about how ads helps in automated discovery. It will actually help in it will become a bedrock of merchandising, discovery, and everything. So these are the 3-4 areas I feel
Yeah.
ads will evolve, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere the most intelligent people in the world are working on how to make a customer click. It may sound different, but it is actually the truth. There's so much of work to be done to make this thing relevant, to make
Yeah.
your ad experience good, for help a business
Yeah.
sustain. ads is gonna be okay, and you have AI and machine learning and so many things and customer experience coming in. This is going to be an interesting area for any new player to kind of come in and work.
So, what advice would you give to an aspiring product manager who are interested in pursuing a career in product management or digital ads industry?
I think it's same. If you want to be a product manager, product management is generally is domain agnostic. It's a skill set where you are, if you're good at it, you can learn and evolve. Like I started my product management journey in ads, then I did OTT in mini TV, then I did e-commerce, which is shipping, warehousing, SaaS solutions, and now I'm helping restaurants order easily. I'm helping fraud detection. I'm helping on customers finding better food. Right. So it's a fungible skill set. I think what is important, and I've told it to folks, is one is obviously the skill sets you need. You need to be good in detail orientation. You need to be good in articulation. You need to be good in information dissemination, and you need not have an ego, because if you have an ego, then you will not be able to listen to different folks' viewpoints. But what is most important is, do you think product management is your DNA? And I'll give an example what I mean. In a sales, GTM, program management, ops roles, you have a target 15 days, 7 days, 30 days. You work well, you see a result, and you get a high. So there is a high of achievement that comes at a regular interval. Product management sometimes works at a longer gestation. Your product may come after 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. So sometimes you'll be working in the corner of an office, figuring out requirements, working with the engineer to develop it and getting feedback. Most folks won't know what exactly are you working on around the company, and you won't get that weekly, monthly, or a fortnightly high. So you need to evaluate, are you that person who actually revels in that weekly, monthly, fortnightly high? For example, my wife loves that. She loves that energy that comes in that weekly, fortnightly high. And she does extremely well in the fields of go-to-market, sales, operations, program management, because she loves. While I like to work a little bit on the on somewhere else on the back door, working for slightly longish term, working in a high leverage, high risk kind of a domain, but I'm happy not getting that weekly, monthly high. So you as an aspiring product manager or an aspiring marketing manager should try to understand what makes you more happy, what gets you more excited. And if you think the answer is that weekly, monthly high, please choose a GTM, sales, marketing role, because that's where you will revel. If you like being working in the back and I'm in the back door working something which will take 5-6 months, and after 5-6 months you may fail because the product didn't land well, then take a product management. So I think it's less to do with the skill sets, it's more to do with you trying to understand what your DNA is, and then figuring out what you want to do.
So I am there's a time. So apart from this, is there any particular mantra or guiding principle you follow in your approach to product management in digital ads?
I think the biggest mantra is just having a very flexible mindset. As I explained to you, right? Initially we thought ads is an irritant. Then we said, okay, ads can help you actually in discovery. Ads even help you in financially viable customers. So you have to be flexible. It's a space which is evolving very fast. So there is no set rule that this is the only way to do it. For example, if I am making an ad product for a Unilever, P&G, Evolved player, I will probably get into a lot of details and maturity. Versus if I'm making a product for a small restaurant somewhere in Guntur, I will try to simplify and make it, and I will question some of the hypotheses. Do I want to make a bidding platform or not? A bidding platform may work beautifully for Unilever, P&G of the world, but it may not work for the restaurant in Guntur, who will struggle to handle bids and does not have the time to update bids every 1 hour or 2 hours. So be flexible. Understand your customer, understand your advertiser, understand that the things will evolve, and have that flexibility is what I would say is the key mantra for a product manager in the digital ad space.
Okay. So thank you so much, Tapuja, for giving your time and whatever knowledge you have, deliver it in a very simple and in a very easy language. So thank you, Tapuja. Thank you, all listeners. Thank you again. Yeah.
Thank you, Archit, for having me. It was wonderful talking to you. All
Yeah.
the best and take care.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.